Just the game against Benetton, obviously a bad way to lose at the very end. How do you reflect on the game?
Yeah, a lot of learnings from it. Kind of just showed that when you're not at your A game, anyone can kind of beat anyone. It's a pretty good league in that sense in the URC. So we were obviously disappointed with ourselves, but talked about it not being a season-defining loss coming into a really big week for the club. So taking the learnings that we can from that game and making sure that we put things right this week.
How are the excitement levels ahead of a big European semi-final against Toulon?
They're massive, yeah. We talked about it last year and the disappointment of the semi-final loss last year, and if you in that change room we were all sitting there and thinking we'd love another crack at a semi-final, and we've had to wait a year to get here and go through a lot of tough games to get ourselves back to this position. So we're in that position that we all would have done anything to get a crack at again now, so we're just very excited to give it a lash again.
Is it difficult to block out coming so close and coming so far the last few years in Europe when it comes to a game like this?
Yeah, I think it's always an ever-evolving group. There's always people coming in and out. So each kind of season is its own thing. Obviously, you know about what's gone on in the past and people have been involved in past defeats and stuff like that. But we're very much focused on this journey, what we've done together as a group this year, and this whole season is going to be our own goal.
Just on yourself, just how good does it personally feel like being able to finish the last couple of seasons, be able to be part of these big days and be a key player in them? Just how, for yourself, how good is that?
Yeah, it's why you play the games is for these kind of days. So the ability, as you said, to get a run of games, really enjoying my rugby at the moment, really enjoying loads of semi-finals and finals I would have watched from the stands, whether that being injured or not selected here throughout the years. So to kind of get to the stage now where I'm playing these big games, it's something I definitely don't take for granted, and it's kind of why you play rugby.
Obviously being fit, but is there anything else that you think has really helped you in the last couple of seasons to get to the level you're at now?
I think it's probably just maybe a little bit more maturity, kind of knowing my body and then backing myself. I used to probably get quite nervous, maybe a bit more comfort in my own skin and the ability to just say, listen, I'm going to try things. I kind of back my skills and stuff like that, and maybe would have been scared to make mistakes, and now I'm kind of more willing to express myself. And then obviously when you play games, you get the confidence from playing games and things coming off, and it kind of just compounds.
Yeah, so first of all, obviously, I mean, just the update that came out about an hour ago, obviously there's the likes of Jordan Armour and James Lowe potentially coming back in. Just how big is it to have those experienced guys back in, I suppose?
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, like coming to the business end of the season now, you want to be pushing each other as much as possible, having your training standards as high as possible. The teams that you're playing at this time of the year are all going to be unbelievably high quality. So the fact that we can simulate that in training and get like training reps against unbelievable players like that and coming into the mix, obviously there's a lot of people who played a lot of games as well. So people can come into the team, bring that energy and kind of excitement who've been maybe sitting on the sideline for a while as well.
Just speaking about those like high quality ones, obviously Toulon probably would be one of the toughest tests you're going to face all season. I mean, are you guys looking forward to that at all? Or I mean, obviously you would be, but
yeah, we are absolutely. Like we know Toulon have a lot of history in the competition as well, and they love the competition. Some French sides maybe might prioritise the top 14, but we know that like their history, they've had a lot of success in this competition. So we know how much it means to them, how much it means to their fans. So I think hopefully it should lead to an unbelievable game and an unbelievable atmosphere on Saturday.
And I mean, I have to ask, do you have any memory of the last Leinster Toulon knockout game that happened?
I remember the intercept, unfortunately. Ian Madigan probably won't be loving the whole build-up this week. I'm sure that'll come up a couple of times. But yeah, I think like I remember watching any of those games, they were an unbelievable Toulon side. But I remember Leinster kind of always put it up to them and maybe fell short a couple of times. But we know the challenge that's going to be. It's going to be pretty similar this week.
In a semi-final, it's very tight, very closed game, very tough. How much of a change is it of the mindset for a winger? Because it's you don't have that much opportunity.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, kind of semi-finals, there's a lot of pressure rugby, and sometimes you can think about who's going to make the mistake and who's going to blink first. Something we talk about is trying not to go in on our shell and make sure that we can still play our game. So obviously there's high intensity moments and you don't want to be the one making the mistake, but you also can't let that limit you and can't go into your shell.
But for yourself, on a personal point of view, how an evolution of the mindset, this typical semi-final game.
Yeah, I guess it's just every moment is going to be huge. You talk about winning as many duels as you can. So as a winger, that might be a lot of high ball stuff, chasing kicks, receiving kicks, something that you're obviously going to put a massive emphasis on, because the way the game is gone at the moment now, sometimes those contested kicks can bounce one way and it can be bouncing into someone's hand, and that can be the deciding of a game. So we know that as wingers in these pressure games, there's semi-finals, as you said, there's a lot of onus on us, but that's obviously something very exciting as well, that you can be the one that can create something special.